Welcome guys, this is Automotive Anonymous, and if you're new here, I've driven a couple hundred cars on my channel, and having owned Subarus for the last 4 years, after switching from Toyota trucks, which I drove for the longest time, here are my 7 reasons why I strongly think you should consider buying or owning a new Subaru in 2024. The first reason is Subaru's all-wheel drive is symmetrical and it's constantly working mechanically, so it's all the time, always ready to go, and you know what to expect. It's not a reactionary based system or provided by an electric hybrid motor, and so it's a lot better than what these usually compete against with Toyota and Mazda and Honda, honestly. And then you have the X modes, so it's basically like a fancy program that allows you varying degrees of wheel spin, which depending on the surface you're on can really be quite helpful. It also shifts power to the wheels with traction, so typically if you start from a standstill and you aren't moving, just stay on the throttle lightly and let the system figure itself out. These are absolutely amazing in snow. I've owned 2 Tacomas and an FJ Cruiser prior to switching to Subaru's all-wheel drive system, and this experience has far exceeded that. Having to constantly switch between 2 high and 4 high just gets annoying. And Subarus typically come out of the box ready to go and be adventure ready for the most part. These crossovers give you 8.7 inches as standard with either all-season or all-terrain factory tires. And then depending on the model, they have about 21 to 33 cubic feet behind the second row, which is pretty convenient. You have roof rails for additional add-ons. You can even get a hitch on your Subaru. But if you need more than that, there's a plethora of aftermarket companies who make all the goodies your heart could possibly desire to build yours to suit your needs. And there's kind of a cult following on Subarus. Just follow a forum, ask questions, learn as much as you want to know. The third reason is most of these are not only a 5-star crash test rated vehicle, but they're also a top safety pick or top safety pick plus. That comes not only from being over-engineered in a way that holds up well in a crash, but also with all the active and passive safety features. It informs you of what the system sees and helps you avoid accidents. A lot of those features include the basics like lane keep assist, auto braking, reverse automatic braking, blind spot monitoring, adaptive cruise control. Sure, this unibody construction might not be as rugged as stiff as a body-on-frame SUV like a 4Runner, but it's actually going to hold up way better in a crash, and it has way more crumple zones to keep you and your family safe. The fourth reason is Japanese reliability. Although unfortunately these aren't all assembled in Japan and shipped overseas, there are still a few models that are, kind of like the Forester, but my Outback was assembled in Indiana. So generally these are a better value than the similar Japanese comparative vehicles like Honda and Toyota. If you spec one the same, it's usually going to cost about $2,000 to $3,000 less, with all the same options being a Subaru. And then Subaru is also kind of like Toyota in that they're not on the forefront of innovation and technology. They have fewer engines in the stable. They have more investment though in each of their powertrains, so they're going to be pretty reliable, and there's going to be abundance of parts if you ever do have to work on these. Subaru thankfully also hasn't joined the bandwagon of investing into all these little 1.5 liter 4-cylinder turbo engines that are very high stressed. And if you're unfamiliar with the Boxer engine, you should know that these are pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You can identify most of the parts and they're easy to work on, despite what maybe some people who are a little bit more ignorant of the Boxer platform would say. These aren't that complicated of an engine for being a Japanese built car. The fifth reason is there's basically always a Subaru that can be found at the trailheads, the campsites, or up in the mountains. Subaru owners drive their vehicles the way they are intended in most situations, and there's fewer pavement princess examples than some of these big, ridiculous, expensive lifted trucks and 4x4s. And then most modifications you see on Subarus are to actually further increase their functionality in a way that it's going to be used. And because car enthusiasts like to modify their rides to their own uniqueness, Subaru modifications usually aren't that expensive compared to body-on-frame vehicle mods. But often you don't even need to worry about that. These are capable out of the box, as mentioned earlier. If you need anything, it's probably just going to be a better set of tires at some point. Number 6 is that these are very well balanced for daily life. They're an on-road vehicle that can go off-road when needed, and they pair very well with on-road, all-terrain tires, such as the Yokohama Geolanders that this Wilderness came with. Rather than some less pleasant to drive body-on-frame that weighs a literal ton more and isn't very well versed to paved roads while getting horrendous gas mileage and has less features for more money. I love the 4Runner, but I'm calling you out. Because you're paying for a name, a reputation, or capability that you likely won't even need in a brand new daily driver, Subaru is kind of the best of both worlds. And my 7th and final reason is depreciation usually isn't that bad on Subarus, and maintenance costs are pretty affordable and straightforward if you want to do the repairs yourself. This has a top mount oil filter, which is easy to get to. Because Subarus are only a 2 to 2.5 liter engine, they usually take just under a 5-quart jug of oil. So if you want to change the oil yourself, it's usually about a $30 deal. It has a rear-wheel drive setup platform, so the alternator and the serpentine belt and a lot of the wearable items that you need to maintain are right up top, easy to get to, and you're not fighting over space. There's not a lot of competition because the block, being a boxer engine, sits really low. So it adds a lot of low center of gravity to make you feel more stable on the road and less tippy. And then because it's not transversely mounted like a front-wheel drive biased RAV4 CRV or CX5, these are just a little bit more pleasant to work on in most cases. Anyways guys, it's probably time to conclude this video and head out because it's in the high 30s. It's starting to get a little bit chilly out here, but in the Pacific Northwest we wear shorts year round. Anyways guys, I just appreciate you staying until the end. If you have Subaru experience, whether it's good or bad, please comment below so other people can learn from our experiences when they're deciding if this could be the right vehicle for them for 2024 and beyond. If you enjoyed my video and my 7 reasons why I think you should consider one, like this video. That small act of kindness seriously goes so far in helping it get spread, helping my channel to grow. Subscribe if you want to watch more. I always post at least once a week. And until next time, I hope you take care. See ya.